Mr. McDowell, Chapter 4. I was on pins and needles until Friday, waiting for Miss Lark to come back. Would she be so upset when she found out the words to her song were wrong? Would the girls be upset if they said they couldn't be snowflakes after all? Would everyone be upset with Small Paul for ruining the whole song? Would I? Miss Lark, Paul Fletcher did some research and found that there's a problem with one of the lines in your song. Miss Brisbane explained when the music teacher arrived, it is possible for two snowflakes to be identical. Miss Lark looked surprised. Really? That's not what I learned in school. Mrs. Brisbane called on Small Paul to explain. What I read said that while there probably have never been two snowflakes that are alike, there is a possibility, he said. And of course, who would know for sure? Because you'd have to look at every snowflake that ever fell. Wow, that's a whole lot of snowflakes, Thomas said. Miss Lark blinked a few times as she thought. Let's take a vote, she said at last. Raise your hand if you think we should change the song. Not one hand or paw went up. Even Small Paul didn't raise his hand. Good, Mrs. Brisbane said. And I think I have an idea for that will make everything clear. I'll tell you later. For now, I'll let you sing. And sing, sing, sing we did as Miss Lark played on her keyboard. First, the boys sang all of Jingle Bells. I squeaked right along with them, but I think they drowned me out. Then the girls sang, No Two Snowflakes Are Alike. I didn't squeak along with them since I'm not a girl. Instead, I hopped on my wheel and spun to the music. I forgot one thing though. My wheel makes a noise. It's not a little squeak, squeak, squeak like mine, but a loud screech, screech, screech. The more I spin, the more it screeches. Suddenly, Miss Lark looked up and stopped playing the music. Some of the girls kept on singing until they noticed she had stopped. Miss Lark stared in the direction of my cage, so I stopped spinning my wheel as well. Is that the question, she asked? Oh, that's Humphrey's wheel. He enjoys spinning to music, Mrs. Brisbane said. So do I, Rosie said as she spun her wheelchair in a circle. Can we cover the cage with a cloth or something? Miss Lark asked. So we don't have to hear him? Cover my cage with a cloth? Could my tiny hamster ears have actually heard those words? Oh no, Sophie gasped. He'd feel terrible if you did that. I was so happy that someone knew I wouldn't like that. I don't think we need to cover his cage, Mrs. Brisbane said. Let's just sing a little louder. I was so worried that Miss Lark would cover my cage. I didn't squeak or screech at all as the boys practiced Jingle Bells again. They sounded fine to my small ears. But Miss Lark stopped again and said, Who's that? The singing ended again. It wasn't me, I squeaked. After all, I can't be blamed for everything. Sing again, boys, she said. This time I won't play. The boys cheerfully repeated Jingle Bells, but this time Miss Lark walked away from the keyboard and stood in front of the boys, looking hard at each other. When she was standing in front of just Joey, she frowned. I'm afraid it's you, Joey, she said. The boys stopped singing. What did I do? Joey asked. I'm afraid your singing is a little bit off key. In fact, I'm afraid your singing was way off key. She said, Off key? He said. Yes, Mrs. Lark said. You're not singing the right notes. Could you sing more softly? Joey nodded. When the boys started singing again, Joey didn't just sing more softly, he didn't sing at all. His mouth was closed as he stared down at his feet. It was the saddest Jingle Bells I've ever heard. Poor Joey. I think he felt terrible about singing off key. Mrs. Brisbane told Miss Lark when my hands left for recess. I hated to say anything. Miss Lark answered, but Joey's singing was awful. He almost sounds like that frog over there. He's so off key, he'll throw everyone else off too. I'm sure he'll try to do better, Mrs. Brisbane said. He certainly will, I squeaked. Miss Lark sighed. I know, but he will be better by the time the show. It's very important to me. Boing, 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 Og twanged. I don't blame him for sticking up for frogs, although I have to admit, the sound Og makes don't sound much like singing. Miss Lark shuddered as she glanced over at Og and me. Don't those animals bother you while you're teaching? She asked. Not a bit, Mrs. Brisbane said. The children learn a lot from them. And you could learn a lot from Miss Brisbane, I squeaked. If only humans could understand me. At least once in a while. I'm not quite sure Miss Lark believed Miss Brisbane, or me. They won't bite? She asked in a shaky voice. Og certainly doesn't, and Humphrey doesn't either. Though some hamsters may give you a nibble if they're scared. It's not their fault, she said. I'm not sure, but I think Miss Lark squeaked. She might not like hamsters, but she sure sounded like one. They won't hurt you, Miss Brisbane said. Now why are you so worried about the show? It took a lot of hard work to convince Mrs. Morales to let us have a winter program, Miss Lark said. Finally, he said, we could try it once and see how successful it is. So I want everything to be perfect. Mr. Morales is the principal and the most important person at Longfellow School, so naturally Miss Lark would want him to be pleased. Miss Brisbane put her arm around Miss Lark's shoulders. I do understand, Mary, but try to relax. I know the children won't let you down, and the parents will love the show. They will, I squeaked. Boing, boing, Og agreed. Miss Lark left, thank goodness, but for the rest of the day I thought about Joey. I didn't think he or his family would enjoy the show if he didn't get to sing. And once we were alone at the end of the day, I opened the lock that doesn't lock on my cage and hurried over to the Og's tank. I'm sorry about what Mr. Lark said about your about your croaking, I said. I thought you and Joey sounded great, great, great. It wasn't actually true, but for once I thought it was all right to bend the truth a little. After all, I wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I wouldn't want to be like Miss Lark. Right after school let out for the day, Mrs. Brisbane gave the class an assignment. When she said the word homework, everybody groaned as usual. But my classmates cheered up quite a bit when she told us what it was. On Monday, I want you to talk about what you like best about the winter holidays, she said. We're all going to share our traditions and memories, and if you'd like to bring something in that has a special meaning for you, please do. There were nods and smiles. Sophie leaned over and whispered something to Phoebe until Mrs. Brisbane told her to stop talking. Being a young hamster, I didn't have any traditions. I spent last Chanukah at Stop Giggling Gail's house. She's Simon's sister. They lit candles and sang and they opened presents. Ooh, it was wonderful. Then I spent Christmas at Mrs. Brisbane's house and had a hamsterific time. They opened presents under a sparkling tree. But Og didn't come into the room 26 until after the holidays. Og, do you know about all the celebrations that happened during the winter break? I asked him. He splashed around in the water, but he didn't have anything to say. Poor Og didn't even know about holiday fun. Suddenly, all I wanted was for my goofy, googly-eyed neighbor to receive a present for the holidays, and I wanted it to be from me. Humphrey's Winter Wonderings. I wonder what kind of gift a frog would like. I do know what a frog's favorite drink is. Coca-Cola.